If you've watched the Late Break Show, you'll know that Miles is the owner of the DeLorean who bought it when he was a teenager. And that sounds like a one-of-one story, except for the fact I know that that's not true. Miles may be a great guy, but he's got someone else for competition. This guy. Well, that was graceful, wasn't it? Hello.
Yeah, kind of.
How are you, mate?
I'm all good.
So this is William, and this is his 1981 DeLorean that he bought when he was how old?
19.
A DeLorean at 19, and I thought my Porsche at 19 was impressive. This is an incredible car that's may look cool, but it's not exactly the most finished at the moment. We'll get into that in a minute. But, well, the first thing that I want to ask you is how the hell did you do this?
Being awake at 11 o'clock at night, and then a stupid decision. I realised I could do it. It was kind of an impulsive decision because I just started a new job at the same time. I'd been working for a while, but this was a new start. Moved around after lockdown had ended. I was moving between jobs, so it was a very impulsive decision, but yeah.
To bought a DeLorean at 19 years old. I mean, what kind of condition was this car actually in when you found it? Because surely at 19 years old, you wouldn't have found a brilliant example, would you?
It wasn't mint. It was formally painted red over in the States sometime 1985, 1990. Collision damage down all the driver's side, but when I got it, all the front had already been stripped of paint, bar the bumper. Rear quarter panel had most of the work need doing on it. Interior was all gutted. It was all there, but it was all took apart and various states of sun damage and things like that. And just a case of what I was looking for was the right thing. Project.
It was a complete labour of love. But at the end of the day, unlike me, you aren't a qualified mechanic. You didn't know this beforehand. But so you got stuck in there, bought a DeLorean as a project car, which people have been saying for decades, you should only do if you're a master mechanic, if you know exactly what you're doing. But you didn't know what you were doing, but bought it and got stuck in and you did it yourself, which
and that
is fantastic.
Yeah, and that comment about people saying that you only buy them if you know what you're doing is a complete lie. I mean, me not really knowing anything, I just got on with it. It's not perfect. There's areas that I'm going back over now, which I should have done at the time. Miles, being the youngest owner at the time, he obviously knows his fair bits about mechanics, as you've probably seen on the Late Break Show video they did where building his race car and things like that. I didn't. Luckily, I had help from members of the community and things like that to guide me, but a lot of it I'm going back over now, like the cooling system that I cobbled it together and got it working, and now it's time to get it to a better condition.
At the end of the day though, the fact that this car is now, I mean, it's off the road currently because it is January when I'm filming this, but the fact that this car has been on the road for the last 2-3 years,
give or take,
since you bought it and since you put it back, it's testament to what you've done. It's testament as well to what Matt Armstrong says, which is hard work beats talent.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I could do with a bit more talent because some bits aren't perfect.
I think we all could, let's be honest. But at the end of the day, it's here, it's still on the road because of you. Why don't we have a bit of a tour of this car?
Obviously, the stainless being the most important part about the car was in really rough state. The front wings when I bought it were already redone by our stainless wizard Chris Nicholson, but under sort of the rub strip and these side markers you'll find there's like small drill holes where whoever the car was took to in America tried to pull the dents out, which didn't work. Back quarter panel, it was even rougher. There was probably about 1 inch to 2 inch of filler. The door was all scuffed and dented. I mean, if you come down here, you'll see holes where Chris Nicholson's drilled his way in to beat the dents out from behind. The seats got reupholstered because they were all cracked and horrible as most leather seats do. Binnacle prone for cracking and everything, which is actually in perfect mint condition. Most of the interiors either been refreshed or restored. Besides that, it wasn't anything major, like there was not a panel missing, there was nothing for the car was missing. So it's just been a case of put it back together for where the owner in America took it apart. When I bought it, it didn't run, or at the very least, you had to convince it to run, so.
It just wouldn't idle or hold anything.
One of the things we had to do when I was looking at it was manipulate the cold start injector to get the car to run.
Well, it uses K-Jet.
Yeah, the Bosch K-Jet system wasn't working quite as well as it should have been.
Which is notoriously well known for being shit.
Well, in some people's eyes. When a friend of mine, who was our club technical advisor, Rich Hutchinson, he came and actually got the engine running within an hour. Turns out that the control pressure regulator had failed. We got a new one off of a Mark II Golf or something because they share a lot of the same system. We've got it timed, we've got it running. Yeah, so far it's only caused the odd issue every now and then, but It's just been a case of reconditioning it because the car sat for 15 years. It's just been a case of bringing it back to life. Some of the other things we've done is coolant expansion tank in stainless because the plastic ones are known for exploding after a certain period of time.
Exploding?
Yes, thanks to a company in Germany, Autotechnik Wagner, or however the hell you pronounce
Wagner.
it. They have a black twin-turbo DeLorean nuts machine, and they actually fitted gas struts to the engine cover, and somebody in Italy has also done the same thing. And it makes having the engine cover open far easier because it gets rid of the original factory bracket, which is known for bends the engine cover over, and it's not that great. Recently repainted the front and rear bumpers again.
Well, the front bumper is not exactly in that point yet of being painted, but we'll get onto that in a moment.
It's nearly done. Repainting these again for the third time. Where I'm going with it next is probably trying to get a bit of extra power back out of the engine because being 43 years old, a lot of the ponies have left the field, as well as a couple of cosmetic mods. So we're putting the twin turbo side scoops on, even though it doesn't have a twin turbo yet.
Yet?
Maybe. Putting the scoops on because they look nice, and also we're fitting a spoiler, but spoilers, that's not going to be revealed yet. It'll have a new radiator put in, and it'll be run around a bit, as well as a couple of other things that people will see on my end of things.
DeLoreans are normally quite low cars regardless. However, this is a lot lower than it was the last time I came here and saw this car. So that's something that's been changed and is a bit special apparently.
As far as I'm aware, I'm probably the only DeLorean in the country that has KW coilovers on the car, according to Miles. Most of the cars in the country have either SPACs or IBAC, as well as various little reinforcements to the upper and lower control arms, so like box them in, make them stronger because they're known for snap. We did that a couple of months ago. I've not had a chance to set it up properly, so the car's kind of all over the place.
It's not the only one in the world.
No. All the Americans tend to have KW coilovers on it.
You're probably going to hate me for this. Can I have a go?
Sure.
Oh, this is going to be sick.
Stop!
What?
Can't go on the road, it's not road legal yet.
Sake. Well, that was minorly disappointing, but at the end of the day, that was still pretty cool.
Well,
Second time I've driven this DeLorean, which is fantastic. Most people our age never get to drive these things.
no, that's true.
So thank you very much for that. So this is not going to be the last time we see this car on this channel or William on his. So William, what is actually going to be happening to either this car or the group before we end off?
Well, we've got the big DeLorean revival event coming up.
They're going to the original DeLorean test track in Northern Ireland at the original factory.
We had to spend a lot of money between us, the Eurotech Club, and
The Americans.
yeah, to restore the track because it was very, very rough. There were trees growing through it.
What about with this one specifically?
Various little upgrades like the cooling system and things like that. There's not really much left.
I suppose that the next time that we see this car is going to be when we go on our road trip, and after that it's going to be late in November when I take my car, hopefully, up to the NEC for the Classics show, and this is for sure going to be going. Thank you.
Special request.
By special request, because William knows how to turn up, unlike certain someone. Thank you very much for watching this, and we'll see William and this car again shortly. Cheers guys, take care.